Thank you for joining us at 4. I'm Pershall in for Samantha Jones. We start this afternoon with confirmation that one of the 13 service members killed in Afghanistan is from the St. Louis area. This is Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. The 20-year-old Marine is from St. Charles County. News 4's Corey Stark is following the new information coming in from the control room. Corey?
Yeah, Paige, that really sad news being revealed this afternoon by his father. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz was from Wentzville. Here again is a picture of the Marine, and right now our Russell Kinsall is working to gather more information about him. Schmitz is one of 11 Marines killed in the Kabul airport attack that the Pentagon now says was carried out by one ISIS-K suicide bomber, not two like initially reported, and the threats are not over.
Still believe there are credible threats. In fact, I'd say specific credible threats.
President Biden says more than 12,000 additional people have been evacuated in the last 24 hours from the Kabul airport. Congressional Republicans have vowed to hold President Biden accountable for the chaotic U.S. withdrawal. And yesterday, Senator Josh Hawley called for Biden's resignation. And today, U.S. Congresswoman Mary Miller of Illinois joined that call. The White House press secretary was asked about that today.
I have to say that seeing some of this occur or be called for or be put out on Twitter, the backdrop here is the U.S. men and women of the military deployed on the ground are bravely continuing to implement a mission to save lives on the ground. American citizens, Afghan partners, many people that some of these same individuals are calling for us to evacuate. Yesterday, they lost 13 of their own, and the president made absolutely clear that we are going to hunt down, go after, and kill the terrorists who are responsible. Everyone should be supportive of that.
Psaki also saying simply, now is not the time for politics. New numbers from the government puts the number of Afghans killed at 169. Again, right now, our Russell Kinsall is working to learn more about Wentzville Marine Jared Schmitz, who was killed. I'll have more coming up tonight on News 4 at 5 and 6. Paige?
All right, Corey, thank you. Certainly holding his family close in our thoughts right now. This video here is from Drone 4 at Soldiers Memorial today in downtown St. Louis. You can see the flags there at half-staff to pay tribute to the servicemen and women who lost their lives yesterday in the bombing in Afghanistan. Flags will remain at half-staff until Monday. You can make a difference in the lives of refugees right now. Tomorrow from 10 to 2, STL Serves will collect donations for Oasis International Ministries to help these Afghan immigrants. You can drop off donations at Empowers STL, that's on Locust. It's a short turnaround, getting word that the refugees were coming to their arrival, but so far the response has been overwhelming.
It's been incredible. It's been beyond our wildest dreams. The support and the outpouring of love that we're seeing in our neighborhood and in our community for our new neighbors has been amazing, and it's just been absolutely a dream come true.
Just a few items that would go a long way here. Baby items, toiletries, bedding, furniture, basically anything that you can think of that someone new to the country might need to start their lives all over again. Again, that is from 10 until 2 tomorrow at Empower in the 2800 block of Locust. That's near the intersection with Jefferson. We do need to shift now to weather. The broiler still on across the News 4 viewing area. And we've had another afternoon with some storms popping up. So we want to bring in meteorologist Matt Chambers, who's monitoring this afternoon's developments.
Thankfully, those storms have been a little better behaved than yesterday's. They don't want to go severe, and frankly, I'm okay with that. The ingredients just not quite as robust. So let's start with the heat, because that's smacking everybody in the face again today, and we're on the cusp of a weekend. Everybody wants to know, will it impact my weekend plans? You better believe it. Here's some new information as we go on the air at 4 p.m. That heat advisory that was originally scheduled to expire late Thursday and then extended through today has been extended again. Now through 7 p.m. Saturday across the entire viewing area. Not that surprised, should be just about as warm tomorrow as it has been today. Interesting to note, there are some spots where passing rain showers and thunderstorms are cooling things down briefly, temporarily. Notice it's 94 in St. Louis, but 88 in Edwardsville. Still dealing with a triple-digit heat index across much of the area. Let's talk about why Edwardsville's a little cooler. It's because they got a thunderstorm flaring up now. Most of Metro St. Louis is quiet, but when we say spotty thunderstorms, this is the prototype. This is exactly what we're talking talking about. Let me zero in on why Edwardsville's a little cooler, right between Collinsville and Edwardsville, and the campus of SIUE there, right up I-55. Pretty good little thunderstorm here. Thankfully, again, nothing severe so far, and I think that trend will continue. Still, we'll monitor for some gusts up to about 35 miles per hour, some rain that could be briefly heavy, and frequent lightning. What about rain chances this weekend? Got those details in your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Forecasters say Tropical Storm Ida is now at hurricane strength, and Ida could be a major Category 3 hurricane with winds topping 120 miles an hour when it nears the U.S. coast. It's hitting Cuba today and then heading straight for New Orleans. An emergency has been declared for all of Louisiana. Now, we want to bring Matt back in because, Matt, it's worth noting, if Ida were to hit Sunday, that would be the 16th anniversary of the devastating Hurricane Katrina, that video we're seeing right behind you.
And what an uncanny coincidence. I can't imagine the emotional turmoil that residents along the Gulf Coast, especially in Louisiana, Mississippi, and maybe Alabama, are going through right now. I want to give you the absolute latest on Ida. Just so bizarre that we're tracking something going basically along the same path or making the same landfall trajectory. Here are the latest stats on Ida. Yep, she is a hurricane. Maximum sustained winds have come up a little bit as it moves across the western part of Cuba. Now sustained winds at 80 miles per hour near the core, near the eye, moving to the north and west at 15 miles per hour. It'll probably weaken just a touch as it moves over western Cuba. But I got to tell you, between western Cuba and New Orleans, there is nothing but warm Gulf of Mexico water, which is like high-octane fuel for this storm. Those yellow arrows indicate kind of the center point of the current cone of uncertainty in terms of the forecast. Sure enough, if the forecast holds, this thing could make landfall in southern Louisiana Sunday night, 16 years to the day as Katrina's landfall. And of course, with New Orleans on the east side of that track page, that means the storm surge could once again be devastating. People are already asking me, will this be as bad as Katrina? The short answer is people along the Gulf Coast have to prepare as if it will be.
Yeah.
Back to you.
This is incredible in the worst way. Certainly going to keep a close eye on it, Matt. Thank you. The CDC says every U.S. state is now at high risk for transmission of COVID-19 as the aggressive Delta variant continues its deadly spread. And today, a major court ruling coming down in Florida regarding those mandatory mask mandates for the state's nearly 3 million students. A judge says Florida school districts may impose mask mandates for students. That would be in defiance of Governor Ron DeSantis' ban. Judge John Cooper says the governor's order is unconstitutional and without legal authority. DeSantis has threatened to withhold some state funding to school boards that approve mask mandates. That's really a victory for parents who successfully petitioned for a school mask mandate.
Sometimes you have to stand up and do what's right to the people in power and protect those that can't do it themselves. And that's exactly what we did.
Now, there is some good news on the vaccination front, too. At least half of U.S. 12 to 17-year-olds have at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. Meanwhile, healthcare workers in several states, like Mississippi, for example, really under enormous strain right now.
The perfect way that people have described this as a war zone. People are younger, people are sicker.
The CDC reports COVID-related deaths are up 11% from last week. Some COVID-19 patients apparently don't have to look very far to find out who they contracted the virus from. People are passing it on to others in their household. That comes from new research showing that patients pass the virus to about 1 in 5 of their household contacts. The study shows an estimated rate of 19% of household secondary attacks. A new poll reveals half of U.S. workers support vaccine requirements at their workplaces. That survey was done by the Associated Press. 59% of remote workers say they want a vaccine requirement, while 47% of those currently working in person are in favor of the mandate. About half of Americans are in favor of masks in the workplace. Remember, you can always follow all the new developments on the pandemic and all the day's news with the News 4 mobile app. That app is free to download in your phone's app store. For years now, we have been reporting on the illegal dumping problem plaguing the city of Wellston in North County. In May, the city and county came together, bringing volunteers in to help clean up the Lulu Heights neighborhood behind Normandy High School. 3 months later now, big question, how does it look? News 4's Caroline Hecker joins us live from there this afternoon. So, Caroline, what do you think?
Paige, it looks pretty good when you think back to what it looked like 3 months ago. You look at this grass behind me, you'd never know that it had been buried under feet of trash. We're not just talking like soda cans and wrappers, we're talking couches, mattresses, clothes, anything and everything you could think of. But the city and the residents who live here say things like these barricades that have been put in place, as well as cameras, most importantly, they say, are changing this problem for the better. So to give you an idea again of what it looked like in May, you can see this video. This is during that massive cleanup at the end of May between the county and the city. They removed 400 tons of trash. Now last year, the city of Wellston invested more than $80,000 in this problem, trying to clean up the trash, but residents around here tell me it just kept coming back. There was no deterrent. Now, again, they tell me the way these barricades have been set up and the additional cameras that have been placed in this neighborhood are really making a difference.
Some of the neighbors were dumping and everything. That's pretty much stopped. You still get your kids that walk by, throw the cane bars. You're always going to have that. I talk to them when I can, then sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
Now, there's still some trash. You've got wrappers, you've got cups, things like that, like he was saying, you may always have. But what we wanted to find out was, are the residents and their perception of the progress being made here, is that in line, or does that translate into what police are seeing when it comes to illegal dumping? The surprising numbers coming up at 6. We're live in Wellston tonight. Caroline Hecker, News 4.
All right, Caroline, thank you. All new at 4, a big development for North St. Louis County. After 16 months, the ribbons have been cut and the new Pershall Bridge over Interstate 270 is open. This is part of a $27 million project to improve traffic and development in North County.
This bridge here is going to improve connectivity for the neighborhoods, for businesses, for Christian Hospital Northeast. It's going to improve that flow of traffic and the ability for people to connect through here.
This is just one of several projects MoDOT is working on in North County with the goal of making improvements to handle the needs not only today, but also 20 years from today.